Welcome to our whiteboard drawing, Enterprise 20 Dial Plan Build, Dial Planned End User Training, Call Forwarding from your Cisco phone. What about call forwarding? Call forwarding helps callers reach you by forwarding calls that would otherwise fail to numbers where you might answer. It's easier to collaborate when you can reach the people with whom you need to collaborate. You can make yourself more reachable with our flexible self-service call forwarding deployment. You can forward calls to different numbers based on different conditions, and you can forward calls to different numbers based on whether the caller is internal or external. You can use the user web pages to configure call forwarding for different conditions. These are the most common: forward all calls, forward busy, forward the call if the line is busy, you may or may not have call waiting, forward no answer, forward the call if the line is unanswered after the no answer ring duration. Forward all can also be configured from your phone. If you don't have access to the user web pages, then forward busy and forward no answer will be configured to go to voicemail. Enterprise 20 has 10 sites across Canada. We'll use Winnipeg line 4001 to illustrate using the Call Forward All button. We'll use user Chloe Campbell's and her Montreal phone with extension 36001 to illustrate call forwarding configuration using the user web pages. Call Forward All is special because it can be configured from the phone. We'll use Winnipeg line 4001 to illustrate this. Anyone can call forward all a line on a phone by selecting the Call Forward All soft key and entering the forwarding destination. You can tell that the line is forwarded by the icon on the top right of the phone. Call Forward All destinations are normally restricted to internal and local numbers. Let's call forward all Winnipeg line 4001 to Winnipeg line 4002. Then we'll call line 4001 from Hamilton to see what happens. This icon indicates line 1 is in a forward all condition. The forwarding destination for line 1 is indicated here. There are no indicators for other forwarding conditions. You can't tell from the phone if line 1 is in a forward busy or forward no answer condition. There are no indicators for forwarding from line 2. You can't tell from the phone if line 2 is in a forward all or any other condition. Call forwarding works like you expect. Numbers you configure as call forward destinations are the same as numbers you can dial. Local 7-digit, local 10-digit, long distance, but not for call forward all, and international. Most lines can't be forwarded to international numbers. Callers are forwarded to the same party that you reach if you dial the number from your home site, even if you are roaming. We'll call forward all Winnipeg line 4001 to the 7-digit number 93100000. We need a 9 to configure call forwarding to outside numbers, just like for dialing. Then we call 8-602-4001 to see what happens. We get forwarded to the Winnipeg 7-digit number 93100000. Another success. Here we call forward all Winnipeg line 4001 to the 10-digit external number 9204-273-0000 configured on the Winnipeg test phone. Then we call 8-602-4001 to see what happens. When we call 8-602-4001, we get forwarded to the Winnipeg 10-digit number 9204-273-0000. Success! If we try to forward to long-distance number 91722 555-0000, or international number 9011-689-0000, we get fast busy because these numbers are not permitted for call forward all destinations. Some long-distance and international numbers are restricted. If you have international forwarding privileges, you still may not be able to forward to some area codes and some countries. You can call forward all to voicemail. Press the call forward all soft key. Press the voicemail button. Line 1 is now forwarded to voicemail. You can turn off call forward all. Press the call forward all soft key when forwarding is active. You can call forward all to a speed dial. Press the call forward all soft key and press the speed dial button. Call forwarding can be configured from the user web pages. Web browse to this address. Log in using your username and password. Call forward all shows up on the Home tab. The checkbox indicates whether forwarding is on or off, and the drop-down box is for the destination. Select the phone and line for which you want to configure call forwarding. Select the Home tab. Check the box, enter the number, and click Save at the bottom. A success dialog box will pop up in the bottom right corner of the window, and the phone display is updated. The other options can be configured on the User Line Settings tab. These options are normally restricted to long distance, local, internal, and site abbreviated dialing, extensions, numbers. Here's what the user web pages look like when everything is set to go to voicemail for Chloe's line 36001. The checkboxes turn on forwarding for the condition. The drop-down boxes indicate the destination to which the call will be forwarded. The top section is for forwarding when someone internal is trying to reach you. The bottom section is for forwarding when an outside caller is trying to reach you. You can enter a destination in the drop-down box, or you can select voicemail. You configure forward no answer here and here. You configure forward busy here and here. These conditions are less common. Forward no coverage. Forward the call if we sent the caller to a hunt list that failed to answer. Forward unregistered, or CFR. Forward the call if your phone is unregistered. For example, CIPC is not running, your phone is unplugged, or the remote site has experienced a WAN failure. Don't worry about these. We set them to go to voicemail for you. Forwarding for these conditions may not work if you change the settings. Use the user web pages to turn the busy and no answer settings off or on and to configure destinations. The no coverage and cannot register settings should always be set to go to voicemail. We configured Chloe's line for testing. Call forward busy internal to this number. Call forward busy external to this number. Call forward no answer internal to this number. And call forward no answer external to this number. Make sure the checkbox is checked, enter the numbers, and click Save. Call forward no answer will activate after the line has been ringing for the no answer ring duration. This is normally set to 12 seconds, but we set this to 5 for illustration. You can't change this setting yourself. Call forward busy will activate if the number of calls on the line is greater than or equal to the busy trigger value. The busy trigger controls call waiting. You can't change this setting either. We'll explain the busy trigger in a moment. We'll turn off call waiting for the moment by setting the value to 1. When we call Chloe from the Hamilton site, after 5 seconds of ring no answer, we get forwarded to the Montreal 10-digit number 9514-460-0000. It's a success! Hooray! When we call Winnipeg 8-602-4001 with a call to Vancouver internal number 8-595-6001 active on the line, we get forwarded to the Montreal 7-digit number 9310-0000. It's another success. You may have call waiting configured for your lines. In this case, you can receive more than one call on your lines. When additional calls come in, you can see them in the display. You can answer the incoming call and switch between the calls using the 4-way navigation pad and select button. When additional calls are up, you can switch between them using the 4-way navigation pad and select button. Only one call can be active at a time. All other calls will be on hold. Of course, you can put all the calls on hold if necessary. This button may look different on your phone. What is this busy trigger value? The busy trigger controls call waiting. Callers will get a busy indication if they call you and you have the busy trigger number of calls on the line. If the busy trigger is 2 and you have a call on the line, the next caller will wait. If the busy trigger is 3 and you have 2 calls on the line, the next caller will wait, and so on. We'll set the value to 2 and see what happens. Here, Chloe has a call up from the Winnipeg site, and a second call is coming in from the Halifax site. Here, Chloe has answered the call. 2 calls are up on her line. When multiple calls are up, you switch between them using the 4-way navigation pad and select button. Only one call can be active. Icons indicate which call is active and which ones are on hold. The top call is on hold and the bottom call is active. The forward no answer timer is set to 12 seconds for all lines. The busy trigger is set to 2 by default for all lines. Some of you like call waiting and some of you hate it. If you want call waiting turned on or off, or to change the number of calls that can be waiting, or if you want the forward no answer timer changed for your lines, we'll be happy to make the changes. Contact us at collabadmin@enterprise20.ca. Remember, leave the destinations for these set to go to voicemail, forward no coverage, and forward unregistered. What have we learned? Call forwarding helps callers reach you by forwarding calls that would otherwise fail to numbers where you might answer. You can make yourself more reachable with our flexible self-service call forwarding deployment. You can forward calls to different numbers based on different conditions, and you can forward calls to different numbers based on whether the caller is internal or external. What have we learned? You can use the user web pages to configure call forwarding for different conditions. These are the most common: forward all calls, forward busy, forward the call if the line is busy, you may or may not have call waiting, forward no answer, forward the call if the line is unanswered after the no answer ring duration. Forward all can also be configured from your phone. Leave the destinations for these set to go to voicemail, forward no coverage, and forward unregistered. This training is continued in Dial Planned End User Training, Part 5. Part 5 looks at mobility and roaming. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.